Hello everyone, my dear friends, students, programmers, anybody who is interested in programming in Python, in GUI programming, because in this course we develop applications with the graphics, with the windows, buttons. We call them GUI, graphical user interface apps. And in the first lesson, we did just a hello TK Inter application. TK Inter is a framework, a library designed for Python programmers to create real life applications with the GUI. And we did a demo. We did a simple hello TK Inter program. And we used a very simple widget label. Widget is a visual element you can place on your screen for your user. Some widgets are active, the user can change them, can interact with them, like buttons, checkboxes. Some widgets are rather static, they are just to organize screen, to make it nice, like labels, like frames, like bitmaps. So we will cover the most popular widgets in our course, and today's turn is a a label. Button, it's next lesson. So label is the simplest widget is just a piece of text, a message you wanna show to your user on the screen. Of course, you have to instantiate label using constructor. Of course, you have to visualize the label using pack method. All the widgets, they follow the same rules, the same two steps in instantiate, then pack. Constructor, label constructor is pretty sophisticated. You may build many different types of labels, but the good news is you don't have to use all the parameters in the constructor because look at my Python fundamentals course lesson about functions, and there is very convenient technique in Python to make it easier. Complex functions calls, we provide keywords for the arguments, and we may have default values. So you don't have to use all the parameters when you call the constructor. You may use just some of them. And the most important parameters of the label constructor is the master. Any label belongs to a certain window. The message, actual text, the font, you can, of course, produce the message using many different fonts, sizes, styles, and two colors, FG, foreground, and BG, background. You may be surprised, but the label, when you build it, when you instantiate it, doesn't really have location, because when we're talking about screen, about graphics on the screen, there are always X and Y coordinates, vertical position, horizontal position. So you don't have to do that because TK Inter automatically going to place your label in the center of the screen and at the top of the screen. So regardless of the size of the window, your label is always there. You don't have to worry. And if you add another label to your application, to your window, using pack method, it's going to be placed below. So the labels, if you add them to the screen using pack method, they are placed vertically. Okay, so what we are going to do is very simple color mixer application, and it's going to be again our case study. So we are going to use this idea of mixing colors, creating from three different components, different colors, in order to demonstrate different widgets. You may know that any color is three numbers. We call sometimes them RGB numbers: red amount, green amount, blue amount. Any number is from 0 to 255. But there is another color scheme. We call it hexadecimal, also very popular. So in TK Inter, if we're going to use colors in our color mixer application, we're going to need color in a hexadecimal format. So you need a hash symbol and then 6 hexadecimal numbers. So the first two are red, the third and the fourth are green, and the fifth and the sixth is blue. Now they changing from 00 to FF. FF in hexadecimal arithmetic is 255. So when we're going to show different colors in our apps, we're going to use this hexadecimal format, and let's maybe first run it so you can get the idea what it looks like. So that's how your application going to work. So we have just 4 labels. You see they are placed vertically. One label is empty, it's just a mixer to show different colors. But the other 3 are with the text, and we randomly create a number for the red, a number for the green, a number for the blue, and we mix them. We mix those numbers in one color and we show them above. For example, in this particular run, you see the red was 16 out of 255, green 197, and blue 22. Next time, if I run it again, you see it's different. Anytime you run your program, of course, the colors are regenerated and they are random. Let's take a look at the coding, but before we go to the coding, I would like to explain you very popular Python method. It's called format. We are going to use it a lot because we need to assemble hexadecimal, 6 hexadecimals. So format is the predecessor of format method is actually C. In C, there is a very popular function, it's called printf. And in many ways, what you see in Python as a format, it's similar. Similar, not exactly the same, but it is similar to C printf. Now, how it's working? You have a so-called formatting string, and you have a list of the variables. So you see how you can use format method. So first you need a string, Usually it is literal, it's not a variable. And you apply to the string format method with the list of the variables. It can be as long as you need. And what happens now, the string is processed from the left to the right. All the characters are copied to the result string. But if there is a placeholder it's between curly braces, then variable value printed instead of this placeholder. So you can assemble or build very complex strings using literal text and variables values. In my case, for example, I have a variable John, which is string. I have an integer variable age, 18, and I assemble message. My name is John. I'm 18 years old using format method. So all those variables, they are printed in the um, instead of or substituted instead of curly braces, and then after the whole formatting line is processed, the result is saved here. So formatting string, format method, list of variables, placeholders. By the way, in a placeholder, you may specify how you want to see your variable. There are many different formats how you can see certain variables. You can check W3 schools and you see the full list of the format characters. I don't want to do it now. I just explaining you the idea of the format method. So you process this line. You substitute instead of curly braces the values of the variable. So you have to have as many placeholders here, as many variables in the list. And then the whole result is saved in this variable. S in my case means string and D means integer. So I want to print string variable, integer variable, and number is the position. So 0 is the first variable in the list, 1 is the second variable in the list, and so on and so forth. Let's run it because we are going to use it in our color mixer app. And you see how my string is nicely assembled based on literal text and variables, values. Okay, we can take a look now at the color mixer coding. So what I did, I connected random numbers library to my app. I generated random number, sorry, I initialized random number generator. I get the main window. I set up the title. I set up the size. I instantiated a label line 10. And then I add it to my main window. And I want to have some space above. Pad Y is very popular parameter if you use pack method to make a space between widgets. Then I created random number. That's a library function. It gives us a random number from 0 to 255. I show, oh sorry, I created a string with that random number. And finally, I want to show it. So I instantiated a label. I pack it and my label going to show this message, how much red I have right now. And I do the same for green label, for blue label, and this is actual formatting. So you see, because my numbers are decimal and I want to see them in hexadecimal format, I have to apply format X. Format X means show decimal as hexadecimal, and 02 means for each hexadecimal allocate 2 digits. I want to have precisely 6 digits for each color, and of course I have number sign. So you see I assemble color here using format method, and then I change my LBL mixer color to whatever color I mixed. And the end of the program is initializing main loop or messages loop. So I encourage everyone to not only watch, to try the apps we create. And so let me run it. And you see how it's working. The label to mix colors, random red, random green, random blue, and the result is purple, kind of purple. So let's take a look. So it was pretty simple. I encourage everyone to type the code you see. So we covered today the first widget, the simplest widget, a label. We used 4 labels in our application. Label is to show basically static text. However, keep in mind, you may change it. You may change the label text later on, and sorry, you use it using config. So config method is if you wanna later on, after label is instantiated, for whatever reason you want to change it, no problem. You can change the text of the label using config method. Thank you very much for watching. And next lesson we are going to review labels, but now with the object-oriented approach. We are going to basically rewrite this up using object-oriented ideas. We are going to create our first class. I appreciate your likes, your subscriptions, your comment. All the best to you and see you soon, guys.